have the Allen Park Housing Commission's annual report.
Yes, well, good evening. On behalf of the Allen Park Housing Commission, I wanted to thank you for the opportunity to be on your agenda. I bring good wishes from the Housing Commission and good news, I hope, for all of us. The Allen Park Housing Commission was formed in 1964, and some of this information you're aware of, but the people in the audience, maybe people watching at home, may not be aware of. We're celebrating our 50th anniversary this year, and we're highlighting some of the individuals that have called public housing their home, along with probably millions of others over the years. But heads of state, heads of courts, heads of industry, and heads of entertainment and sports. And we wanted to highlight some of the individuals this evening. The report that we're giving tonight is brought to you on behalf of the Allen Park City Charter, Section 5.07, that says each board shall present a report annually to the Allen Park Housing Commission. The Allen Park Housing Commission has 5 members. They're appointed by the mayor with council concurrence. And we wanted to talk just a minute because we've had a few issues we wanted to bring to your attention about the qualities that we find that make up a good housing commission. And again, the Allen Park Housing Commission is a 5-member board who sets policies. They approve all of our financial decisions. They lay out our 5-year plan for capital improvements where we receive funds from the Department of Housing and Urban Development. And they also appoint the executive director. Currently, we have Brenda Dingus as our president. Mr. Tachman is here this evening, our vice president. He's behind me here. Ed Tyson is our resident commissioner. By state statute, one of the members of the House Commission shall be a resident of the Leo Paluch Apartments. Robert Draper is one of our newest commissioners, and Karen Folks is here this evening, who is one of our new commissioners. Each of the members are to serve a 5-year term. Recently, we were in Livonia for a meeting of the National Association of Housing and Redevelopment Officials, and it was hosted by Livonia Housing Commission. Livonia is recognized throughout the country as one of the top-run housing commissions. And one of the unique factors of the Livonia Housing Commission is that their 5 members have a combined service of over 100 years. And the importance of this is the longevity and stability of a board, as you can imagine, is very important to us. We are heavily regulated by federal law, state law, and local city ordinances. So it takes some time to learn all of the acronyms from HUD. It takes time to learn all the policies that are instituted by HUD. It takes time to learn the jargon of the housing industry. So it's important for us as we move forward to look for some longevity and stability. It's our goal to have each one of our commissioners certified nationally, and each certification takes approximately 2 years to achieve. This is an interesting slide. Since 2007, the Allen Park Housing Commission's 5-member board has had 15 different commissioners. And this has left us with only one certified commissioner, which is Brenda Dingus, certified by the National Association. And this turnover is putting us a little bit behind the game of keeping up on the federal regulations. It's putting us behind the game as far as training and certification, and it's precluding us from achieving our goal of certification for the board members. So I just wanted the appointing authority to think about this going forward. We're going to provide what we believe is some solutions that you may wish to consider. It's well aware of the achievements that the Allen Park Housing Commission has had over the past years. But imagine where we could be if we had a more stable board. So this turnover rate is our issue that we need to work on together if we could. What the Allen Park Housing Commission has done on behalf of the city councils, we've formed job descriptions for each one of the board members. And because we're only a 5-member board, many of the members serve on subcommittees, and they really need to present an expertise to us in budgets, finance, regulations, law, and public housing in general. So we put this job description on the website so any prospective applicants who wish to serve on the Allen Park Housing Commission would be able to go to allenparkhousing.com and they would be able to view the description of what it means to be a commissioner for the Allen Park House Commission and the time commitment that is necessary to fulfill this position the best that they can. And I think some of the turnovers, we've had a number of individuals who like the idea of being on a housing commission. It sounds great. It's a good cause here in Allen Park. We serve disabled. We service the elderly. We service the poor. And so there's a lot of good spirit that's put into being on the Housing Commission, but they may not be aware of the total time commitment and the amount of work and regulations that they need to keep up on. So what we've done is we work with our national partners to present to you, it's on the table this evening, is it's a start. It's our hope that you would take a look at that, if you would offer your advice to us and some input, but it's a recruitment package that if an individual came up to you and said, hey, I want to serve on the Allen Park Housing Commission, it's a tool that you might be able to present to them. It has a number of websites that we use on a regular basis that they could visit to see if this is really a good fit for them and if they really have the time to serve on this commission. And again, it's our goal to have each one of our members certified. Well, the benefits are here this evening. Not only do we provide good housing for people who need it, but the better we work and the outcome of a good housing commission is more money for the city of Allen Park. Since 2007, the pilot payment that we give the city each year has increased by 67%. And we don't often talk about this formula. I brought the revised simplified formula for us to use in how we determine the payment in lieu of taxes, which is referred to as pilot, is the dwelling rent and any revenue that we collect directly from the tenants. In Allen Park's case, it's a $20 charge a month for air conditioning, and we minus our utilities. So using this formula, the higher the rents that we receive, or the lower our utility bills, the more money the city will be generated for the city. This past year, we started work on the parking lot, and that was a cooperation with the City of Allen Park using Community Development Block Grant funds. It's actually, the construction is going on today and tomorrow. HUD has come into our offices with a team of 3 executives to do what's called an annual 5-year consolidated review, and that has generated a 630-page response from our office to HUD to answer many of their questions. It's also caused us to completely rewrite what's known as admissions and continued occupancy policy. And the best way to explain that is if you have a bad back and you don't treat it, you have a bad leg and then your shoulder hurts. And when you go to rewrite the ACOP, you have to rewrite every other policy that you have. So we have rewritten our lease, rewritten our tenant handbook, and rewritten 13 policies as a result of rewriting the admissions policy for HUD as it was mandated. Also, our administrative assistant, Jennifer Ashton, received a national scholarship. She'll be in Peoria for training, and when she's finished, she'll be certified as an occupancy specialist, which is an asset to all of us, but specifically my office. Just in closing, it's important to note that the good business management of the Housing Commission is extremely important. It does generate revenue for the city. We have to keep our eyes focused on what we're there for, and our main goal is to service providing safe and affordable housing at a decent price for Allen Park residents and for disabled residents in our community. We did, in our new admissions policy, include a preference, the highest preference that you can receive is for veterans. And we're going to be doing outreach this year for veterans. And also for Allen Park residents, they will go to the top of our list for public housing. So I appreciate your time very much. Just take a minute. We did pay our pilot payment some weeks ago, but we did bring a check tonight in the amount of $19,448.77. And we hope that goes in some way to helping the city move forward.
Thank you. Do you have any questions from council?
Yeah, I had a couple. What did you pay in pilot in 2007, if you recall?
It was around 11,000. It was over 11,000, but it was very close to 11,000. And there was a pretty steady increase. It was like 11,100, 11,800, 12,000. And then this year, because we did a number of energy efficient measures, both with cooperation with DTE through some other grants, of renovating all of our boilers, all the hall lighting. We were able to reduce our utility costs, and that pushed us up over $19,000 this year.
And say another word or two, if you would, on the ACOP. You said you had to write 630-page response and generate some 13 or 20 new policies. 630-page response. What's the response about?
Well, that's part of their consolidated review, and a lot of times HUD, because they visit each of the public housing approximately every 5 years, ours was 6 years, they wanted copies of a number of policies that were written and any of the procedures that the Allen Park House Commission has done. Well, in 5 or 6 years, we've done quite a few. Employee handbooks, procurement policies, personnel policies, all that information needed to be copied and sent to HUD because they have each department. There was an executive that came down to manage, to oversee and to audit our entire maintenance operation and work orders. There was an individual that came down just to go through all the checks, invoices, receipts, contracts, and he was to manage the financial. And then there was a tenant occupancy specialist came down to review all of our tenant files, how we calculated each person's rent. And they did a pretty extensive, 25% of our tenant files were gone through from start to finish to make sure everything was done appropriately.
So these 630 pages were a lot of copies of you didn't create 630 new pages.
Well, we had to produce them, yes.
You had to reproduce these
Yeah.
things that are already existing. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.